For me, the main thing that the president needs to worry about the most is honestly that they are the facilitator of everybody else. The president has a lot of power to reach out to any of the positions, whether it's the vice presidents, whether it's the representatives, the directors, and do everything that he can to help them do their jobs. So often that can just be sitting down with them, talking to them, like often is the case with the four-on-ones that happen where they work out their budgets, they work out their ideas, they work out their plans. The president has a lot of opportunity to work with them and help to encourage them, give them new ideas, help them work on the ideas they already have. Aside from that, they also have the physical capacity to help them because they have the most access to the execs, and they have the capacity as the CEO to make things happen for people that really need things to go on. Aside from that, obviously, they have a lot of responsibilities as essentially the executive member of the student council when it comes to the NCC. They have a lot of responsibilities dealing with administration and communicating what the administration has to say back to the NCSC and vice versa. So I think that really their main job is interpersonal communication. It's making sure that they are aware of their surroundings, they're aware of the people that they're working with, and that they're doing everything that they possibly can to help them.
Personally, when I first thought about why I want to run for president, that's the exact same question I asked myself. I said, what does a president, or more specifically the president of the city council, what does he or she have to do? And when I thought about it, and then the first thing I did was I actually turned into the Constitution, and I was looking into that. And then the first thing that it actually said that the president has to act as the CEO of the council. So I thought about it a little bit, and then some things were a little bit vague. So what I did, I actually went and talked with Mr. Veloso, the current president, and he enlightened me a little bit. And so personally, what I think a president is doing as a CEO is, you have this council, you have this 24 or more people sitting in a room, and you're responsible for them to interact with each other, to work with each other as a unit. And as a president, that's your responsibility to make sure all these interactions are happening smoothly, so the outcome of the council, so the events you're planning and the services you're providing are to the best quality possible. So that's what I think a president does.
Dealing with disputes between the student council and the administration, I think the most important thing that the student council needs to be doing is communicating. The exec and the student council itself often doesn't have all of the information, all the perspectives that the administration does, and that's vice versa as well. So whether we're dealing with the Office of Residence and Student Life, whether it's the registrar, the principal's office, there's always perspectives, ideas going around that not everybody's aware of. And I think specifically when you're dealing with the president, the person that has a lot of capacity to sit down and talk with individuals, has the capacity to get a full perspective for everybody, their role should really be one of making sure everybody is making the most informed decision that they can. Ultimately, I think that the president's job is to represent students. He's been elected by them. His job is to represent the student council. So after he has done everything that he can to provide all of the information to all the parties that he can, after we manage to discuss it, we come up with a decision, I think the president is beholden to represent the views of the student council. As long as everybody feels comfortable that they've reached a decision that they want to move forward with, the president needs to support that. And I think that that's basically everything that he can do, whether it causes conflict or whether it causes cooperation. That's his responsibility.
All right, so as a potential president, the first thing I would do is narrow down the problem. The exec team constitutes of the president and 3 VPs. So if the problem arises, that this problem is between the NCSC and the administration of New College, the first thing I would do is I try and ask the New College admin to see what the problem is arising from. Is the problem something about what the council is doing, or is the problem something about how we're being perceived as a student union? And the good thing about the position of the president is that you're not alone. You have the president, you have VP admin, you have VP of finances, and you have VP of student life. So as the president, I don't feel like I don't have any support and that I have to tackle this alone. And yes, if the president is a very big name and it's a very big title, but important to know that you shouldn't get carried away. Just because you're the president doesn't mean you have to tackle everything on your own. So if I want to really resolve this professionally, I would actually set up a meeting with myself and all the execs and the administration of New College. And if we can actually narrow down and resolve the issue there, good. If not, then the issue needs to be brought to the whole council's attention, and then we can take it from there. Student membership fee. When a student is paying a specific amount, the questions they ask themselves is, first, why am I paying more funds on top of my tuition to be part of the college? And number two is, where is my money exactly going to? And I do understand for all New College students, part of your tuition goes toward funding for student council. And personally, when I was a student in first year, I really wanted to know, where is my money being spent? Where is it going? And if you actually look around in New College, when you see my posters, but one of my mottos is actually says transparency. So for me to be able to justify why a New College student is paying some fees to be part of New College is for me to show them what their money is doing. And that's why I really believe in transparency. And thankfully, I'm not the only person who thought of this. This process has been started from last year, where our current VP of Finances, Christina Kim, she actually made the entire budget of NCC available online to everyone. So that's a very good start. So a student who feels proud to be part of New College and are questioning, where is my money going? They can really and substantially see what their money is doing, what events is it being spent on, and what services is it being used to provide to students.
One of the funniest things about this question that you're asking is I've been going around talking to a lot of students during the campaign period, and I've been just asking them what they're interested in seeing from their student council. And a lot of the people that I've been talking to were students that are in kinesiology, that were engineers, part of the profex that were living at New College. They pay our fees, they're responsible for membership fees because they're living in our residence. And a lot of the students really aren't sure, to be completely honest, what the student council can do for them. And I think looking forward to the next year, the main thing for justifying what the fee is making students aware of what exactly that fee is getting them. A lot of these students don't know that there's off-campus directors. There are year representatives. There's a lot of people that don't know, for example, that the VP Student Life provides something like a locker service. And there's a lot of things that the student council is doing, that the student council is beholden to offer these students because they're giving us money, and the money that we're using is their money. So everything that we're doing needs to be addressing the needs of as many students as possible. And I think, especially considering going to the next year, from a lot of the conversations I've had with students, the big thing is making sure that they know what we're offering them. And if we want to justify the membership fee, the first step is making sure that everybody knows what that membership fee is getting them.
The Constitution is set in place to enforce the fact that the rules that the council is following in providing services to the students to be followed exactly, because if everyone was to do what they thought was best, the council wouldn't be able to work as a functional unit. Now, this has happened before when I was on council as well, so this is not a very novel thing. This happens all the time in any, not only in the student council, but in any group of unions. There are times that not just the president, but any member of the council looks at the Constitution and they have a scenario at hand. And they feel themselves, and they feel that it's not best to follow the Constitution for that specific scenario. So this can happen, this can go two ways. One is maybe what you're thinking is actually, it's not just you that was thinking that. So what I would do is, the first thing I would do is bring my opinion to the council. Tell them this is what the Constitution is saying, and this is what I think that we should do. So if the majority of council agrees with me, we can actually form an amendment to the Constitution at that part, at that specific time. Maybe because it's not in the Constitution, and the Constitution review meetings are actually formed, to my latest knowledge, they usually are set up near the end of the year. So that's one. So we can form an amendment to make everyone happy, everyone wins. The other one is, just because I'm the president and I think something's right, it doesn't necessarily give me the right to do whatever I want. So again, this question has to be brought into the council. If the majority of the council members agree that yes, we should take a different course of action, so be it. But if my exec team and my board of directors are against me on this, I have to go with the majority. Because after all, we have the Constitution set in place because it has worked for the majority of times.
So the Constitution, one of the most interesting things about our Constitution as a student council is that every year we make an effort to edit it. We make an effort to adjust it and make it address the realities of the year that we're facing. And I've been on these committees before, and something that we really pay a lot of attention to when we're dealing with the Constitution is trying to figure out the spirit of what it is we're trying to represent as the student council. And a lot of the things that are written into the Constitution, I think the more important thing is not so much the letter of what it says as it is the spirit of what it says. Now, having said that, being the president, I'm an elected official, I'm an elected executive, and I am responsible to protect the Constitution that I've been elected under. So if I was put into a position where my views were directly opposing to the Constitution, I think that I would be pressed to go with the Constitution. Having said that, if it was a set of circumstances that I recognized that whatever this Constitution was doing was going against the spirit of what the Constitution is meant for, to enable students to be part of the student council, to enable the student council to be effective at representing its students, I would be interested in addressing that, perhaps in dealing with it more directly. Regardless, that would be a decision that would have to go through the council and that everybody would have to support. So it's not a decision that I would be making lightly. But summary, if it went with the spirit, I would change it. But it's there for a reason and you can't just do that lightly.
So why should you, New College, vote for me, Ashkan Azimi, as NCSC president? It's a very big question, and I don't have much time, so I'm just going to get into it. So the reason I want to do president for NCSC, this decision was not made overnight. I thought about it long and hard for the entire year that I was not involved in the student council. What I want to do, there are two main things that I want to achieve by becoming a president. One is unity. And when I say to unite, I mean two different things. One is I want to unite the New College students. But for me to do that, I need to make sure that the council members, the NCSC members are all united and are all working together in the best way possible and are functioning at maximum capacity. That's the number one thing that I want to achieve as a potential president. Number two, as I mentioned before, is transparency. And by transparency, again, it can mean two different things. One, I want the council members' actions to be completely transparent in respect to each other. So I want everyone to be completely open about how they feel about a certain issue, or how they feel about another council member's actions or thought, or what they said or what they did. Because if, as a council, we're all honest and open to each other, it will enhance how we function. And another one is, I want us to be transparent in the term that the New College admin and the students, they need to know what we're doing. Yes, we are a union and we do get funding, but that doesn't give us the right to do whatever we want with that money as soon as we get elected. People need to know where their money is going and how the student council is actually doing their job. So these are the two things I want to do. So now, why should you vote for me? Honestly, I cannot really comment on the expertise of my opposition, but what I can tell you is, if I'm elected, I will do the best job possible. Thank you.
I think I would be the best candidate for the position for a couple of reasons. The first one is that I have been around participating since my first year, but that in itself is not that important. The important thing is that I've been around this year. And I think for me, being the president, being part of the executive, even being part of the student council itself, it's very important to be aware of the context that the council is in. Yes, you can address the issues of trying for advocacy, running events, trying to get everybody elected constitutionally and appropriately, But the most important thing for being an effective council is knowing what came before you and understanding why that matters to you in the present. And for me, I've been around a lot. I know what the president, Angelo, has been dealing with this year, what the exec team has. I know what a lot of the other council members have been dealing with. I know a lot of the issues that they've encountered and things that they can see a lot of opportunity to fix. And for that, solely that, I think that I'm very well suited to it. Aside from that, I have experience on the council. I've been part of NCC, and I know a lot of the administration already. So many of the relationships that I need to build, many of the relationships that I need to rely on in the coming year, I've already started. Along with that, aside from being good friends with a number of the exec candidates, I know many of the council members that are coming in as well. And I think that I already have a strongly working relationship with them. So as I mentioned before, for me, being the president is all about being interpersonal. It's managing the relationships of everybody and being a good communicator. And I think that I have a very strong chance to be the best of anybody, to be the main communication channel for both the administration and the council.